Hey there, vitamins and minerals students. I wanted to do my video just a little bit differently this week because for week 7, yay, we're on week 7. Are you guys excited? I know I am. So there's only one more week left and we have spring break week. So that's something exciting to look forward to. But for this week, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about some of the assignments that you're doing because you do have a couple new things, okay? So it'll be important for you to listen to this entire video. So under week 7, as always, you have your discussion boards, which, you know, I'm reading all of your posts and you are doing a really nice job answering your discussion board questions. I love the interaction that you're having with each other and you're asking some great questions between each other and commenting on your posts. So, you know, nice job with your discussion boards. Just again, make sure that your responses are, you know, the correct length. So be cautious about responding not only to my questions, but also to each other. So, you know, paying attention to these instructions here are very important. So for this week, you're doing 2 vitamins again. So we have vitamin C and choline. So the same thing, PowerPoint presentation. Then you have your review questions from the textbook and some additional articles that I have shared with you. And then of course your quiz. For your poster board presentations this week, let me look. So first of all, for vitamin C, it looks like Cody, Quinn, and Shakira and Caitlin. It looks like I have 4 people on my notes here that signed up for vitamin C. So you all will have 4 presentations this week to watch. If you're not signed up for vitamin C, you will be watching Cody's presentation. You'll be watching Shakira's presentation, you'll be watching Quinn's presentation and Caitlin's presentation on vitamin C. Choline, it looks like we have Ryan, Bryshon, and Hannah. So again, if you did not sign up for choline, there will be 3 poster board presentations on choline. Ryan, Bryshon, and Hannah will be watching their presentation. So there will be 7 presentations this week. If you did not sign up for one of those 2 vitamins, you will be watching 7 different presentations. And looking at your peer reviews, a lot of you are getting into the groove and now you understand how to do your peer review. Some of you are still, number one, not even doing it. Okay, so there's a couple in the class that have not done a peer review yet. So if that is you, that's affecting your letter grade. So you want to make sure that you are commenting on everyone's poster board presentation and providing your peer review to get those 5 points. For those of you that are doing that, some of you are still not getting the full points because you're not typing 2 different comments. So at 2 different points during the presentation, you're going to post a response or a review on different things like what did they do well? What could they improve on? You could talk about their poster board and how they presented. But you also, in addition to those 2 separate typed posts, you need to also post a video of yourself talking to them. So you're going to videotape yourself and you're going to talk to them through a video so they can actually see who you are and put a name with the face. So make sure you're doing that to get those full 5 points on your peer reviews each week. Then at the bottom, the new things this week, you have a progress report. This is just for you to really take a look at your letter grade in the class. So you're going to open up this Word document and you are going to, you can type right on it. You should be able to type on it and you're going to answer these questions. So first of all, what is your letter grade right now in the class? And then you're going to answer each of these questions. If you're missing any assignments, write down when you would plan to submit them and I'll decide if I'm going to approve that or not. So I just really want you to see what your letter grade is at this point in the class and go back to the grades and look at your grades. So that's the progress report. And then underneath that, we have our first really big self-assessment. So this is your vitamin self-study. So you're going to take a look at your very own vitamin intake. So I've provided some pretty detailed logs here for the vitamin self-study. So if I open up the instructions, you can see they're pretty straightforward. First of all, you're going to record everything you eat and drink for 3 consecutive days on the food logs that I have provided under that week 6 module. So if I go back here and this link that says complete the food logs and the totals page, you will see that I've provided, if you scroll down, 3 separate days of food logs. So here's day 1 log, here's day 2 blank log, and here's day 3. So for 3 consecutive days, that's 3 days in a row, I want you to record every single thing you eat and drink, okay, under this first column. I want you to record which food group it is coming from. If it's a vegetable, you could put a V. If it's a fruit, you could put a F. If it's a dairy, you could put a D, right? And then serving amount. I want you to be very specific. How much of that food item did you have? Was it a cup? Was it an ounce? Was it 5 fluid ounces? Was it a teaspoon, a tablespoon? Please be very specific about the serving amount. And then you're going to also record fiber, carb, fat, and protein grams. Okay, so that's the first step, is just to start logging your foods. And you have to be honest. If you want this to be a valuable learning experience, you need to record every single thing you eat and drink. And that would also include recording any supplements you might take, and anything of that nature, right? You need to include that stuff as well. So that's your first step, is recording all the foods you eat in one day. So if you scroll down on my instructions, I kind of talk about that under step 1 and how I would expect you to record your foods. So again, 3 consecutive days, but please include 1 weekend day and 2 weekdays. So you could do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or you could choose a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Only because we eat differently on the weekends than we do the weekdays sometimes. So we want an overall good picture of your dietary pattern, and that includes the weekends with the weekdays, right? So that's how I would like you to record. So again, this just kind of takes you through some ideas on how to record your foods on your food log. Then you're going to move on to step 2. Once you've recorded 3 days worth of food logs, you're going to do your totals page, or the calculations is the way I like to state. So if you go back to your food logs, you'll see the very first page is called the totals page. So you're just going to basically total up each day. So for day 1, how many total grams of fiber did you eat? So if you go back down to your day 1 food log, you have your fiber column. So you just total everything up in that column and write down how many grams of fiber. Then you're going to do the same thing for carb, fat, and protein. And then finally, you're going to also record what percentage of your total calories on day 1 came from carb, fat, and protein. You're going to do the same thing for day 2, and then the same thing for day 3. So you'll have everything totaled up on this first totals page. Now, I've also provided in my instructions for the assignment how to do some of this math, because some people still might not understand, how do I change grams into calories, right? So if it's a fat, you're going to multiply by 9. If it's a carb or a protein, you're going to multiply by 4, and that's going to change your grams into calories. And then to get the total calories for the day, you're simply going to just add up your fat calories, your protein calories, and then your carbohydrate calories, and that'll give you the total for the day. Then how to calculate percentage of calories from carbs, protein, and fat. I've given you an example here. You simply take your carbohydrate calories, for example, and you divide it by your total calories for the day. You multiply your answer by 100, and that would give you your percentage from, say, carbohydrate. So this will help you to understand and how to do that math when it comes to getting your 3 percentages. Now, some of you might say, well, I didn't have a food label for something that I ate. Well, Google it, right? You can go online. You can go to some different websites. This first one that I've provided here from the USDA is a great website that shares the food composition of many foods out there. And then we've also have some other sites that I've provided as well for those of you that maybe went to, a restaurant or would like to try to find, the food item and the nutritive data of that food item. I provided some additional helpful sites that you could find that information if you did not have a nutrition facts panel in front of you. Once you're done with that step, then you can move on to your computer analysis. And for this assignment, I would like you to use Chronometer. Okay, Chronometer is a free website. There is a free portion that we will be using for the class. There is also a paid upgrade you could get if you wanted to dive a little deeper and get access to additional things on Chronometer. But for what we're using it for this class, you only need the free portion of the website. So what I did is I've just created some step-by-step instructions on how to sign up. You're going to make sure that you create your own profile for yourself. So when you go to Chronometer, it's, well, I'm already signed in, but you can create your own account, right, from Chronometer, and then you're going to enter in some data about yourself as far as your age, your weight, and things like that to create a profile. And once you're done with that, then you can start actually tracking your foods by doing a food diary. So if you go to diary, you can record your foods. Now, maybe you want to record something from a previous date. I'm a year behind here, but if you want to record something from, let's say, February 16th, you would just click on the 16th. That way, you're recording foods for February 16th. And then you would just start searching for your foods here, right? I might choose a banana. And if a banana pops up, whoops, I got out of there. So if I chose a banana, I can see I could change the serving size of it if I wanted to. This one says it's a medium, 7 to 7 7/8 large size bananas, or you can have mashed or sliced. So you would just choose what you had, and then you would just add that food to your diary. Okay, and you would continue to add your foods and beverages for the whole day. And once you're done for the day, then you can see the breakdown here. And this is what we want. You can see the breakdown of all of your vitamins here. So you can see the first column is telling you what you got. And then the second little bar graph is saying, okay, you met, well, in this case, 3% of the daily requirement for thiamine or B1. Okay, so this is where you're going to see a nice breakdown of all of your vitamins. It shows a lot of other information, but for our purposes, we're really trying to look at our vitamin intake for this particular assignment. So you'll be able to see your vitamin intake for the day 1, for day 2, and for day 3 from that particular report. So once you've logged your 3 days worth of foods, you want to take a screenshot of that report. Okay, you want to save that report image where we can see all the breakdowns of the nutrients and the vitamins that you consumed for each day, because you're going to be uploading it for the assignment. I'm going to need to see those reports. So once you're done with that, then you can start really analyzing your diet and answering my questions. So you can see I have posed 9 different questions here. So question 1, what are 3 good dietary habits that you have and why are they good? So I want you to list 3, but I also want you to explain why each individual habit is a good habit. And then you're going to do the same thing for poor habits, listing 3. Then what I'd like you to do is create a table for question 3. Create a table like this. And I want you to have a field or a box for each of these vitamins, okay? And then I want you to share what your intake was for day 1 of that vitamin, what the RDA was or is for that vitamin, and then what percentage of the RDA did you meet for that vitamin. So you're going to have something like this, but for each one of these vitamins listed here that I'm highlighting, okay, from vitamin A all the way down to B12. So for each vitamin, I want to see a column that lists your actual intake for day 1, day 2, and day 3 of that vitamin. I want to see the RDA, how much should you be getting for that vitamin? And then I want to see what percentage did you meet of that RDA for that vitamin. Okay, so that's question 3. Then question 4, you're going to look at which vitamins were you deficient in. So any vitamin that was less than 100% of the RDA would be I was deficient in. How close did you come to meeting the RDA? What are the consequences? If you find that, hey, I was deficient in 6 different vitamins, you're going to list each one. You're going to talk about how far you were away from the RDA, but then you're also going to talk about these are some consequences. If I don't get enough of this vitamin, this can occur. And then what changes or additions can you make to your dietary pattern to improve your intake of that vitamin? So maybe you look back at your food logs and you say, oh, okay, well, if I simply changed from white bread to wheat bread, you know, I might increase my intake of folic acid or folate by this much, right? So you're listing some specific things, dietary changes you could make to your food log to improve your intake of the vitamins, each individual vitamin that you're lacking. Okay, so be specific, right? Talk about each individual vitamin that you're lacking separately in your answer here. Question 5, you're going to go to the other side. Which vitamins were you overdosing? How far over the RDA did you go? For each individual vitamin that you overdosed in, what are the consequences of overdosing on that vitamin? And then what changes could you make to your dietary food log, right? The 3 days to improve or decrease your intake of that particular vitamin. Question 6, overall, what are the main reasons that you chose the foods that you chose? When you look at your overall diet for those 3 days, what were the reasons? What are those reasons behind why you ate the way you ate those 3 days, okay? And number 7, based on your diet and activity level, what diseases are you at risk for? Okay, are you at risk for any chronic diseases at all? If so, explain. If you're not at risk for any diseases, also explain why not. What are you doing that is keeping you at a minimal risk for disease? Number 8, what are 2 behaviors that you could do to change your eating habits? And then I want you to talk in depth about what's your plan to implement these behavior changes. And then lastly, I want you to list 3 different lessons that you learned from this assignment and explain. Don't just write one sentence and say, I learned that I'm lacking vitamin C. Okay, elaborate on that answer to get the full points. So that's kind of the explanation of the assignment. Also, if you go back to that weekly module, whoops, down at the very bottom, you will see the scoring rubric. So this assignment, you can see is worth 70 points, and you can see the breakdown of my 70 points. Now, what you need to do when you upload this assignment into this assignment folder, make sure you put everything into one single document. So you're going to take my answers to the 9 questions, okay? You've created that, you've finished that. Then right underneath that, I want you to copy and paste your food logs with your totals page. So remember, I provided those for you. So just copy and paste those into that same document with all of your answers to my 9 questions. Then the final thing I want you to include on the very end of that document is your reports from Chronometer showing this. Okay, I need to see your breakdown of all your vitamins and everything here. So I need to see a screenshot for day 1, day 2, and day 3. So I need to see these reports for each day so I can take a look at, what your reports are looking like. So each of those things should be placed into one single document. If you have an issue doing that, I would take 3 separate documents, but no more than 3. But it's preferred to upload them in one single document, okay? So that's the scoring rubric. So this assignment is going to be a little more in depth. So I did give you all a little extra time to complete it. You can see it's not due until March 5th, but I would suggest definitely this week you get started on it. You will be able to log your 3 days worth of foods this week, get that part done at least. And then you can start doing your totals page from your food log. And then you can start going into Chronometer and creating your account and entering those 3 days worth of foods. The assignment folder for that can be found under the week 8 module. You can see here, submit the vitamin self-study assignment here. So for those of you that do finish it before March 5th, you're more than welcome to turn it in early as well. So lots going on this week, right? Lots going on. But again, this last assignment, the vitamin self-study, is probably going to be a very valuable learning experience for you all because you're really going to tear apart your vitamin intake, just your vitamin intake, and see where are your weaknesses, where are your strengths, what can you do to improve your intake of each one of these very important vitamins. So have a great week, everyone. If you have any questions, just reach out.